today. Um, Playing a champion, and have switched up some skills that I've been using, but I'm gonna stick with Tectonic Slam for now. Where is it? Right here. So Tectonic Slam, basically just Sunder that you can use with a sword. I ended up delve crafting a really nice sword. This is 455 DPS with crit on it, which is like, I don't know, probably worth a lot of money. Bought this, got a really good deal on this for like 5x, probably worth more than that, but that this of course is a build that's going to revolve around stat sticking. This is not a good stat stick at all, but it's just what I have for now. It's probably be the next thing I buy is a better stat stick. And just to go through all the gear, so sword. With champion, I think sword's the best because it's the easiest route to go crit on. Then you're going to use a stat stick. You need to use a base that is something that you can't attack with both weapons with. So like Tectonic Slam is only hitting with my sword. If this was another sword, actually, I don't know about Tectonic Slam, but like some skills like would use both weapons. So like Reeve, I was using Reeve. Reeve would use both weapons, and that's bad because obviously I'm not going to be able to, or I don't have two of these swords, and there's no point in using two swords just like this because I'm probably going to lose damage because then I can't use a stat stick. So yeah, just scepter base, pretty much all you need to know. Unless you're using like a mace, and then I'm not sure. But as far as gear, just as much life as you can get. I'm at like 6,100 life. I found champion tree to be a little bit stretched on points. I'll go over my tree in a second, but yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more life, but just gonna have to go with this. Helm, just got some int, a lot of life, some resist. These rings I both crafted myself. This is just a steel ring with a life, good res, and some flat fizz on it. Not really that good. Best rings are the like either Shaper or Elder rings with like life gain on hit or something, just for survivability. And like they can roll like crazy melee damage and stuff like that. Or Hysteria, like steel rings probably. They give you 10% extra physical added as fire. Same thing, a little bit of int here, life, res, a little bit of wed. Gloves, again, just looking for res and life pretty much. Belt, paid like 4 or 5 exalts for this. Lot of life, lot of res, and really high wed roll. So that's a pretty good belt. This jewel is just looking for life. This one is probably my worst one by far. Yeah, that was the other problem with the trees. It was tough to find a lot of jewel slots, and like builds where you can pick like 10 jewels are usually like the most OP builds now because of how good abyss jewels can be. But I actually just really started picking up playing this league like in the past 3 weeks. I didn't play it that much in the beginning. I was still addicted to WoW. Calm's Roots, I mean, it sucks that you lose sockets here, but it's definitely made certain things challenging as far as gems, because you really have zero flexibility in your gems. But being immune to temp chains, immune to freeze, immune to stun, or I don't think you're immune to stun, but immune to freeze and immune to temp chains, as well as a lot of life. Pretty good, because it frees up a flask slot. Which is actually like kind of a big deal in red maps because there's always going to be like curses on them. So I like to have a remove curse flask that pretty much is always up, so those curses don't matter in those maps. But yeah, Calm's Roots are great. I would recommend them, but with the new like delve boots and like shaped items, or I forget if it's elder items, you can get like I mean, you could get double life roll with percentage increased max life, and then resist, and still have sockets on them. So those are pretty nuts. Bubonic trails are really good too, just because you get 2 extra Abyss Jewels and move speed on them. And if you have good Abyss Jewels, I mean, you can pretty much have better. I mean, you could get, if you had 250 life, 10 all res Abyss Jewels, you're looking at 100 life on boots, plus like the whatever percentage life that bubonics give you, and then 20 all res. That's pretty nuts for boots. Plus, you have more stats on Abyss Jewels. So, I mean, bubonics are really, really good. Countless Roots are just cheap, and I absolutely hate trying to buy gear. So, I have been doing a little bit of crafting. Got lucky with the sword. Haven't really got lucky with much else. Have a lot of bases here that I can work with. For the rest of the gear, so yeah, life, res, to where you need to get amulet is going to be a big amulet, stat stick, probably your 2 biggest damage increase items. Like this was like 40% damage when I put this on. It's just a lot of fucking damage. And yes, I mean, this is a shitty stat stick, and this is still giving me a good amount of damage. Oh, and then lore weave. I'm using a lore weave. There's better options out there. Lore weave, as you can see, max resist 80. This is a pretty well rolled one, I think, but that's max resist 80 is like pretty fucking good, especially because there's a lot of LE damage down in the delves, and it also ignores like minus max on maps and stuff like that, so that's nice. Gem setup, I went Tectonic Slam, Multi-Strike, Ruthless, Melee Fizz, LA damage with attacks, and I'm using increased critical damage. LE Focus and Conk Effect are huge DPS boosts. Conk Effect, so we can actually show it here. I have a Conk Effect that I use for bossing, but that's the best way to display it. So that's about the range, like right here of where it is without Conk Effect. And then with Conk Effect, it's actually not that bad, a big of a difference, but it is. I find it noticeable when I'm in delves. So yeah, if you were doing like a pure boss killer, like just farming Uber Elder or something like that, then I would probably swap out maybe even Multi-Strike. Multi-Strike is like a big damage boost, but it also like locks you in place, which is like kind of dangerous in some scenarios, especially if you have any latency at all. But yeah, I would just use this and then LE Focus. The reason I don't run LE Focus is because this is a Herald of Ice build, and you'll see in a second we like to shatter things. That's another defensive layer because just helps you avoid stuff like corpse explosion and all that sort of fun stuff, spikers and all those people, porcupines. So and for freezing monsters, because we do crit a lot and we have a lot of damage, is another defense mechanism. So yeah, Lore Weave, 6-link, Hatred, Blood Rage, Herald of Ice, faster attacks. I'm using Consecrated Path because I have permanent Fortify right now, so I don't need the Fortify link here, and I've just been testing this. I kind of like it. It's nice to like kind of move in there on monsters, but Whirling Blades is our main movement skill, and then Blood Magic, obviously. The one thing I will say about Tectonic Slam is it is very, very mana intensive, so I might even get like another point of Leech or something like that, just because there are times where I'm and then I'll have to like consecrated path onto someone. As for my second 4-link, running Vol Ancestral Warchief with Maim, Faster Attacks, and Melee Fizz. I used Vol Double Strike for most of the league. Vol Double Strike's really good too, but I think Warchief's just a little bit better. So let's look at the tree. Started here. Get this node ASAP when you're leveling. Just helps you move a little bit faster early on. And then obviously you're going to take RT really early, but we're moving out of that. Our juicy Scion Life Wheel. I love these attack speed nodes here. Jewel Socket. I should really buy better gear so that I can opt out of this these 2 points here and then just take another Jewel Socket, but like I said, I really hate trying to buy stuff on PoE trade. Yeah, just come up through here, get some juicy nodes here. This is all life. Here's your melee crit node wheel. Come down, more life. Your sword nodes. These are pretty good. And then we're gonna move over to the ranger side of the tree. Yeah, come down through here. Dual weed nodes, more life. Your life leech. I'm taking int again. That could be fixed if I actually was not lazy and bought better gear, but I am lazy. More life, crit nodes, more life. Here's your sword crit nodes, big crit multi nodes here. Jewel socket. Here's my other abyss jewel. This is a pretty decent one. And then these are all pretty juicy nodes here as well. So other things that I'm thinking about trying are Tectonic Slam is 60% conversion. This node right here gives you another 20% conversion, and this. So yeah, these two together is 40. So this would make us 100% Ellie, which is pretty good. But maybe I'll try that at the end of the league. If I did that, I would probably want to take like these nodes here to like get some pen. If I had more pen on my gear, you'd probably also want to look into like something like a Wise Oak, triple balanced Wise Oak, to just get that extra pen, because we do a lot of elemental damage. For my ascendancy, went here first. This basically just makes it so you taunt enemies when you hit them. You get some defensive bonuses for enemies being taunted, which is really good. And then essentially you can ignore accuracy with this build, and they take a 20% damage multiplier just for being hit by you. So that's pretty good. Just 20% more damage, and don't need accuracy. So that's why swords are great with champion. Then you have this just makes you like unable to be stunned and kind of buffs your fortify, and then this gives you permanent fortify. The like big like champion thing too is here. This makes it so this gives you intimidate on hit, which is another 10% more damage. So that's really good. And then you can do like a blood magic, blasphemy, any curse, get your life really low, turn it off, and you gain adrenaline, which is 100% increased damage, 25 increased attack speed, and some additional damage reduction. So basically, like pop that before a boss fight starts, heal yourself up, and you usually have about 10 to 15 seconds left of adrenaline. You can really, I mean, all the guardians you can pretty much kill within 3 seconds if you do something like this. I've just, since I've been mapping and delving, I find the fortify to be like pretty invaluable, just that it's always up. I'd have less to worry about, but I did run with this for a little bit. It's pretty good, and Fortify is pretty easy to keep up on Whirling Blades, just less so when you're fighting like kind of like the mini bosses and stuff like that. But this is a very good node. I've never used this. I think this is for like aura bots. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take this either. But that's the tree. Let's just show a little bit of how it plays down in a delve. My strategy for delving this league was to just get down to 300 and then keep going to the side, just to find like abyssal cities for maps and shit like that. I had like a huge abyssal city here. This is pretty juicy. Got like probably 20 elder map or guardian maps out of it. But we'll just do a quick one. This is at level 300. So nothing super serious, but I still do die down here every once in a while. So we're going to Consecrated Path to get around, and Whirling Blades. You can see that Shatter's pretty juicy. Looks like we're about to get jumped by some exiles. Oh, nope. But yeah, that's the Vol War Chief right there. He like just kind of jumps around and does his own thing. Sorry, that was kind of disgusting. My apologies. But yeah, pretty easy stuff. That wasn't like a challenging node by any means, but that's the character I went with. Let's see if no, it doesn't look like it's at this node. Gotta try to find out which one it is connecting to this one. Really annoying. But thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. But shout outs to some streamers that helped me were like, Mathel obviously, and this guy named Don the Crown turned me on to Tectonic Slam, or Tectonic Strike, so thank you to those guys. Yeah, just leave any comments you have. Thanks.